Hello everyone, let's continue our journey. You might be sitting there maybe in a cozy coffee shop this morning where the aroma of freshly brewed coffee mingles with the soft tapping of keyboards, or perhaps in your small room bathed in the gentle glow of warm light on the wall. The world is moving, yet deep inside you lingers a question that's far from new. How do I pray the right way? And I bet if you're still wondering, have you started your awakening yet? So before you know it, take a moment to like the videos and subscribe, but only if you actually like what I do here. Why don't you drop a comment and tell me where and when you're listening to this? Morning, noon, or night, I'd love to know where your journey begins. Now sit quietly, reflect, and together begin the journey of recognition. You pray, maybe in the early morning, maybe late at night, maybe in those moments when everything feels hopeless. But have you ever realized you're praying for something that you're not even sure you truly want? Have you ever been in this situation? You sit down, close your eyes, press your hands together, and whisper, "Please. Let me have lots of money." Then you open your eyes. Money. How much for what? Why money? If you just smiled a little, you're like so many others. And I've been there too. Behavioral psychologists once posed a fascinating question. Do people truly want what they desire, or do they simply want the feeling of having it? And the answer is more surprising than you think. Most of us don't really know what we want. One day, you want a stable job. The next, you want to quit. In the morning, you pray for peace. By evening, you crave adventure. And so, you pray, wishing and wondering. Let me tell you a story. There was a young woman who prayed every single day to be wealthy. And then, she got a job offer from a multi-level marketing company. Well, she wished to be rich. Wasn't that an opportunity from the universe? She was disappointed, she cried, she felt cheated. But when she looked back, she realized she didn't even know what wealth really meant to her. Money, freedom, love, respect. And the universe, well, it had no idea what to send her if she wasn't clear herself. You see, this is the first thing you need to realize. Prayer isn't about asking someone else to decide for you. It's about becoming clear, becoming awake, so you can make the choice for yourself. Modern neuroscientists have proven this too. When you focus on something specific, your brain activates its goal-setting center. But if you're vague, your brain goes into ignore mode. You think you're praying, but in reality, you're sending an empty message. Imagine this. You walk up to a food counter. You say to the staff, "Give me whatever." What do you think you'll get? Yes, a plain glass of water, or nothing at all. Prayer works the same way. If you're unclear about what you want, you'll get exactly that, or you'll get nothing at all. And here's something few people realize. Prayer is meant to awaken your clarity about what you desire, not to have someone else figure it out for you. Maybe you already know this, but feel it deeper now. Try this. Close your eyes for 30 seconds after I say this. What are you praying for, and why? What do you hear in your heart? Money, peace, love, or are you simply longing for comfort? You might be surprised to realize you're just longing not to feel alone anymore. The world doesn't lack prayers. It lacks hearts that truly know what they're praying for. And that is where you begin. You begin by identifying what you genuinely want, not what others tell you to want, not what society says you should chase, not what someone else pressures you to pursue. And if you're thinking, "But I don't know where to start," well, even Google needs you to type the right keyword. What do you want? What do you truly want? Try writing it down. Try saying it out loud. Try whispering it to yourself. And maybe you'll discover what you really want isn't money or love or success, but simply your own recognition of yourself. That, my friend, is something you only discover when you dare to pause. One more interesting fact: therapists have found that 80% of people's feeling of being lost comes from not knowing what they want. Not because they've failed, not because they lack ability, but simply because they're unclear on their destination. And if today you realize that you've already walked half the journey. Oh, and by the way, did you know even your GPS asks, where do you want to go? Have you ever wondered why some people keep praying and nothing seems to happen? They pray earnestly, they stay persistent, they hold on to faith, and then they end up saying, well, I guess I'm just unlucky. If you just chuckled, I hope it's a smile of awakening. Researchers on implicit beliefs have long known this. We all live in two streams. One is conscious belief, the other is hidden belief. You say, I believe I deserve to be wealthy, but deep down, your hidden belief is whispering, money is only for the lucky. Even if I get rich, I'll probably lose it all. And so, even if you pray 10 times over, that hidden belief still runs the show. Have you ever tried driving a car? While forgetting to release the handbrake, you press the gas and the car crawls. You get frustrated. Why won't it move? And then when you finally look, you realize you're doing the same thing. You pray, you push, but your own handbrake, your hidden belief, is still pulled tight, and you don't even know it. Think back for a second. How many times have you said to yourself, I'll give it my best, only to hear a little whisper inside, but it probably won't work anyway? Yes, that's you pulling the handbrake. Scientists are still proving that over 95% of human behavior is driven by the subconscious, which means if your subconscious doesn't agree, your prayer becomes an echo in silence. You think the universe is ignoring you. No, the universe is simply responding to your hidden belief. Let me share a little story that might make you pause. A woman prayed for 5 years to get promoted. She worked hard. She gave her best. She even read self-help books every single day. But every time her boss gave her a new project, she secretly thought, I'm just an employee anyway. What do you think happened? She never got promoted. And no, that wasn't a coincidence. It was the energetic ripple effect of what she sent out every day. You might not believe it, but take a look around. Aren't the people who always say, I'm so unlucky, the ones who seem to have bad luck? Aren't the ones who constantly fear betrayal often the ones who get betrayed? Oh, and if you're thinking, that's probably just coincidence. You know, researchers thought so too until they noticed those coincidences happened so often. It couldn't be random. Remember the car with the handbrake on. You need to recognize and release that hidden belief. And here's something hardly anyone tells you. The way to spot a hidden belief isn't by asking, what do I believe? But by asking, what do I really think right after I wish for something? Try it. Think back to something you wished for this morning. What crossed your mind right after? Did your heart leap with excitement, or did a little voice say, yeah, I hope so, but it probably won't happen? Bingo. You just heard your handbrake click. Prayer isn't a ritual. It's an energy field you emit with your deepest beliefs. Let me tell you a funny but very real story. There was a guy who prayed for true love. And what did he get? A girlfriend who was brutally honest, so honest, in fact, that she told him all the things he never wanted to hear. Well, that's the universe for you. What you ask for, what you send out, you get back just like that. Are you laughing now? That's why you need to be honest with yourself. Honest about your hidden beliefs. Honest even about the things you don't want to face. I know, it's not easy. But you know what? You don't have to do it alone. Right now, while you're listening, you've already started recognizing them. Here's a powerful truth that neuroscientists recently discovered. The moment you recognize a hidden belief, it instantly loses part of its power because you've brought it into the light. And remember this, my friend. You can't pray successfully with a heart that still doubts itself. Oh, and here's the third little joke I promised you. Try not to laugh too loud. You know why your prayers feel like those seen messages with no reply? Because you sent them with a sticker of doubt attached. You know, sometimes the reason you don't get what you pray for is simply because you're wishing for something you don't really understand. One time I heard a young woman say, "I pray every day for a perfect partner." And I asked her, "So what does a perfect partner mean to you?" She smiled awkwardly and said, "Well, everybody wants that, right? Yes, everybody wants that. But very few people truly know what they actually want." Scientists are still proving that when you wish for something without an equivalent level of understanding, your brain activates a state of internal conflict, the conflict mode. You send out a signal of desire, but at the same time, you send out a signal of resistance. Picture this. You want to buy a piece of tech. You long for it. You crave it. But you have no idea what it is, what it does, or whether it even suits you. So you go from store to store. You browse countless models. You hear all kinds of advice. And you just stand there, and eventually, you walk away empty-handed. That's exactly what you're doing with your prayers. You wish for a better job, but you don't really know what that job requires. You wish for more money, but you've never thought about how to manage it, or if you even know how to use it wisely. Are you smiling now? I've been there too. Wishing for luck, without understanding that luck is really the intersection of preparation and opportunity. And do you know the most fascinating part? When you don't clearly understand what you're wishing for, the universe doesn't know what to send you either. Prayer is a call of vibration, and if you don't truly understand it, you're just sending out a scrambled signal. Imagine this. You're trying to send a radio message, but you don't know the right frequency. You keep twisting the dial back and forth. You wish, 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 but no station ever picks you up. Ask yourself this. When was the last time you really understood what you were praying for? There was a boy once in a workshop who prayed, "I wish for happiness." And the teacher asked, "Do you know what happiness really means?" The boy fell silent. The teacher smiled and said, "When you can define happiness, that's when you can start praying for it." And you know what? That boy was me. Oh, don't ask me how hard I laughed when I realized I had been wishing for things I didn't even know the meaning of. Are you doing the same? Are you wishing, but keeping yourself in a floating, uncertain state? Here's something few people know. Prayer is the meeting point between desire and awareness. Without awareness, prayer is just empty words. Subconscious researchers have pointed out that when you wish for something but have no clear image of it inside your subconscious, can't hold the energy of that desire, it's like typing a command, but with the wrong syntax. All the computer can do is flash an error message. Have you ever wondered why some people keep circling around their desires and never seem to get anywhere? Maybe because they never took the time to truly understand. Try doing this. Write down what you're praying for, but don't just write one word. Write the reason, the feeling, and the real purpose behind it. For example, I pray for enough financial means to take care of my family, to live according to my values, and to share with others. How does that feel when you read it? Totally different from a hollow wish, isn't it? Oh, and here's a lighthearted joke to loosen you up. You know why your prayer is like an unsent email because you wrote it, but forgot to type in the address. You need to know exactly what you want to send it to the right place the right way, and you can start right now. And remember, my friend, not everyone is willing to pause and understand, but you're doing it right now. And that is awakening. Have you ever felt like you've done everything right, yet life still doesn't respond to you? You pray, you stay patient, you believe, you even try every method people recommend, and still, it's nothing but a long silence, like a slow scene in a Korean drama. You know, so many people have felt that way, and I used to be one of them too. Then I realized something, a truth that bioenergy researchers have known for a long time. The universe doesn't respond to your words, your wishes, or how hard you try. It responds only to the vibration you're truly sending out. Imagine this. You're trying to send a radio message, but you've tuned in to the wrong frequency. You could sit there, pray, repeat your request again and again. But if you don't tune in right, your message will drift endlessly into nowhere. Have you ever tuned a radio wrong? Oh, I sure have sat there listening to nothing but static for 5 straight minutes thinking the song was about to start. And that is exactly what you're doing with the universe. You pray with the frequency of fear. You wish with the frequency of lack. You plead with the frequency of anxiety. And what happens? The universe answers you with exactly the same energy you're sending out. Physicists have debated this endlessly. Is it true that the observer affects the outcome? And eventually, they had to agree that the energy of the observer can indeed influence reality itself. You've heard of that, right? If you haven't, well, there's your first fun fact of the day. Think back on your day. You wished for something, but deep inside, you felt nothing but fear. Did things seem even harder? A young woman once told me, I pray every day to stop worrying about money. And I asked her, so how do you feel each time you pray? She said, I feel even more anxious, afraid I won't have enough. Well, that's exactly what was happening. You can't wish for something when your vibration is pulling in the opposite direction. Imagine this. You invite someone to a party and say, come over, but I guess you probably won't want to anyway. Who do you think will show up? Are you chuckling right now? Here's the truth, one most people avoid facing. What frequency are you really sending out? You wish for wealth, but you're vibrating lack. You wish for love, but you're vibrating fear of getting hurt. You wish for success, but you're vibrating doubt in yourself. Oh, and I know it's not easy to flip that switch overnight. But don't worry, you don't have to be perfect today. You just need to recognize it. And once you start recognizing it, you start adjusting. Just like tuning a radio, you have to listen closely, feel, and gently twist until the frequency clicks and the sound comes in crystal clear. You can do that too. And here's something few people realize. just by sitting quietly tuning in. You're already starting to shift your frequency. You don't have to push too hard. You don't have to force yourself into prayer. All you need to do, sit still, place your hand over your heart, and ask yourself, what am I really sending out? Then you listen. Oh, here's a funny story for you. There was a guy who swore he'd pray every day for peace of mind. And right after praying passionately, he stormed out into the street, argued with people over traffic. What frequency do you think he was sending out exactly? And the universe was only replying with the same energy he was broadcasting. Here's another fun fact. Modern psychology studies have shown that people who can maintain positive emotions consistently, no matter the circumstances, tend to experience far more miracles in life. Not because they're lucky, but because they've kept their frequency aligned. And that, my friend, isn't magic, it's law. Oh, and if you're wondering, so how do I tune my frequency? Stay tuned. I'll walk you through it right after this. You're standing right at the threshold of one of the deepest truths I want to share with you today. Prayer is not really about sitting there and waiting for something to happen to you. It's when you step into a state of being, where you become the prayer itself. Surprised? Let me gently walk you through this. For decades, consciousness researchers have debated and finally agreed on a conclusion that no one can deny now. Your inner state has the power to shape your lived reality. You're not just the one who prays. You are the prayer. Imagine this. A candle doesn't wish to be lit. It simply needs to be a candle. And when the right condition comes, it naturally shines. You're the same. You pray to be wealthy. Then, have you been living in the inner state of someone who feels abundant? Or are you still living in lack, fear, and doubt? You pray for love. Have you been living in the feeling of someone who gives love? Or are you just living in the longing to be loved with a heart full of wounds? One day I asked a friend, do you want to be healed or do you want to become healing? And he went completely silent. You know what that question is for you too. Do you want something to come to you? Or do you want to be the place where that very thing begins? You're wondering if I'm playing with words, aren't you? I'm not, my friend. True prayer is a state you enter, not something you wait for. You want wealth. Step into the state of knowing you are enough. You want love. Step into the state of being someone who shares love. You want peace. Step into the state of being someone who lives in peace even in the smallest moments. Here's a little known truth. The moment you change your inner state, the world outside begins shifting to match you. You might not believe me now, but one day you'll experience it for yourself. You know, a friend of mine once said I kept praying for peace until I stopped praying and just sat still. Sounds like a joke, right? But it's a true story. You don't have to beg, cry, or repeat mantras endlessly. All you need is to be still. Yes, be still in yourself. When you are still, you're no longer wishing you're living in it. And that's why the awakened ones, the truly joyful people, they don't pray in the traditional sense. They simply live in a state of prayer. Oh, here's a little story I love. A monk was once asked, "How do you pray?" He smiled and replied, "I don't pray, I am prayer." Are you smiling yet? Because you're starting to understand this now. Neuroscientists say that when you enter a state of harmony, your brain produces alpha waves, the frequency of peace and openness. And in that state, you become both the sender and the receiver of the signal. You no longer need to chase after anything because you've become that frequency. Have you ever noticed how some people walk into a room and the whole space shifts, not because they have authority, but because they've truly become the vibration they carry? You can do that too. You don't have to be a monk. You don't have to be a sage. You just need to be yourself, but the version of you who lives in a state of prayer. And that's when you no longer ask, "How should I pray?" but naturally become, "I am someone who lives in prayer." Oh, and let me share this playful little joke. You know why people don't need to knock on heaven's door? Because when you're light, the door's already open, and I believe you're stepping into that light now. My dear friend, if you've stayed with me until now, it means you've chosen for yourself a very special gift, the decision to no longer pray like a beggar, but to start living like someone who co-creates miracles. Let me remind you, life will always have moments when you feel like you're walking alone on your path. Like when you sit on your porch watching the rain fall quietly, wondering, when will what I've been waiting for finally come? But you know what? That's not the moment you're being forgotten. That's the moment you're being gifted with the opportunity to recognize yourself, to recognize the energy you're truly vibrating, to recognize the softest, truest voice within your heart. And when you recognize, you've already started flowing with the universe. No longer someone who waits for miracles, no longer someone who pleads for something out of reach, but someone who lights up from within like a warm candle on a quiet winter night. You don't have to rush. You don't have to make everything perfect. You just need to be in this moment. Feel yourself. And let the energy of prayer naturally rise through your heart, like a gentle breeze, like a deep breath, like the look you give yourself in the mirror full of understanding and compassion. And if right now your heart feels a little softer, know this: you've already begun. No striving, no forcing, just breathe and whisper to yourself, "I am here. I am myself. I am already prayer." That is the most beautiful miracle I hope you will carry with you. Not just today, but on every step of your journey. The journey of becoming someone who understands, awakens, and walks alongside yourself. And then you won't have to ask anymore, when will the miracle come? Because you have already become the miracle. Wishing you success in your dreams.